You're on.
Okay. Shalom lekulam and Shavua Tov. Welcome to our limud, our shiur. I hope everyone is well. I hope you had a meaningful Shabbat. Baruch Hashem, from Botzina Kadisha Yerushalayim, all the faces of the Rabbanim I see here had a wonderful Shabbat. It's our custom to study halakha before we get to our main limud. We are still under Parasha Noach, halachot that deal with lighting Shabbat candles or Yom Tov, or light Shabbat light. Last week we only covered, not only, we ended or we left off at halakha we left off at the halakha Yud Bet. Let me refresh our mind. It reads as follows. The pages are in the group. Reads as follows. A blind person might light the Shabbat light and recite a bracha over them. But if a blind woman has a husband who can see, it is better if he lights and recite the bracha. That is where we left off. Again, it's about the obligation of a woman, the lady of the house, to recite or to light and to recite the bracha. But in an event, if there are some challenges, as halakha indicates, and many more others, the husband has got such an obligation. Halakha Yud Gimel reads as follows. Rabbi Shai, please remind me when I'm going out of time. Would you be so kind to help me out? I just started it 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. It's 1:55.
Okay. One question. Halakha reads as follows. Once the Shabbat lights have been lit, they become muktzeh because of the mitzvah What does it really say here? In other words, we are familiar with that. As soon as Shabbat light have been lit, they become muktzeh. You cannot use them. You cannot move them. You cannot extinguish them either. That's even probably too far even to think about. Muktzeh. And here the halakha, or the Ben Shchai is, or the translator rather, provide another source of these laws or where you could find some of these laws, introduction to the laws of Muktzeh. In a Parasha Miktzeh. No? Sorry, it was, yeah, just a small change. In our previous limud, I have indicated that we are going to learn, based on Hashem, with the time, we will delve into this, what constitutes Muktzeh. What is Muktzeh and what constitutes Muktzeh? Because it's the most laws that to many people are not really obvious. Only to one who studies, really, the studies and the study critically would be able to know even the dust of Muktzeh. Halakha continues, one may therefore not touch the Shabbat light over which a bracha was recited after they have been lit. Well, I was ahead of this. Even if one has not yet accepted the Shabbat, and may still do other work forbidden on Shabbat. Example, if the light were lit before the onset of the Shabbat, if the light were lit before the onset of Shabbat, it is not even permissible to touch the light without moving them. So it is forbidden to add oil to the light once they have been lit. It is permissible, however, to light another Shabbat light from the flames, as this does not involve touching the wick of the light which has already been lit. I was going through the Parasha of last week. The Parasha of last week ended with discussing, not that it has ended discussing, but Arya Kadosh, in his teaching, he devoted much more time about the 70 kings and how some of these kings related to 5 senses. 5 senses, and one of those is a touching. The concept of kings, we know that they are alluded to in the first pasuk of the Torah, Bereshit. And that is the foundation of Botzina Kadisha's teaching Torah. That's the base. And we keep on saying, if we do not know the concept of, or we do not have the idea of the 70 kings, we will have a problem, or we will encounter problems in understanding the Torah, particularly understanding our limud, all limudim. And we know that there are this concept or the idea of 70 kings are mentioned in the Tanakh. The first time we encountered them is in the Bereshit, Vaishlach. And the second time we encountered them, he said, Divrei Amim. They are not referred, they are also referring to different type of, not to different type of. They are referring to specifically to two names of the name Havaya. Those of Bereshit, they are referring to Vav in the name Havaya. And those of Divrei Amim, they are referring to Nukva, feminine and masculine principles. So you could see that Muktzeh, the concept of Muktzeh, is so deep that it's not just the way we simply see them. The idea of all this, the deeper meaning of all these laws are really embedded in things that we use on a daily basis. That's why it is really commendable that we do not treat the halachot casually, because you may tamper with the entire creation, which of course, to a certain extent, once you come encroach or once you violate once you violate these laws, it's a proof that you are dominated by a midah or midot that are under that specific king. That's why it would be difficult for us to speak about Tikkun Olam. So, having said that, I think we end here. We only learn one halacha before our main limud. And if there's a question, or maybe I should invite Rabbi Shai. Do I have got someone online here? Ma? No? Leroy.
No, not yet. But on Facebook, on live, yes.
Oh, question. Okay.
There's one.
Okay. So, for those who may listen to this and happen to have a question out of what has been said on this halakha, please do not hesitate to send us those questions. With Hashem's help, we will revert back to you, or we will revert to you with the question, with the answers. That's what Hashem. So it's on halachot, on halakha. That's where we end. We go to our main limud. Yeah. I wanted to introduce my limud today, taking from the book of Mishlei. chapter 18, and the Pasuk 21, Kaf Aleph. I'm going to read it in Hebrew, and then we see what the translation has to offer us. Mishlei 18, and the Pasuk Kaf Aleph 21. I read it to our hearing. Mavet v'chaim be'ad lashon ve'ohavea yochal priya. Translated as follows: death and the life are in the power of the tongue. Here in Hebrew it says be'ad. Okay. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Those who love use it, will eat its fruit. Hey, this is the most pasuk quoted by the religions. Let me sit for a while and trying to map out the world of man. Rabbi Shimon talk about tongue speaks too, people talk too much. People talk too much. Rabbi Pinchas talk about, in his limud, talk about Yosef being the light in the aspect of Yesod. What is really Shlomo trying to tell us in that? I do not have an answer to that question. And there are many more questions until we understand what is being referred to as a tongue. And what is the connection between the tongue and the Parasha that Ari Kadosh is teaching us, the Parasha of this week. The page is there in the group. Ari Kadosh, in his opening, in the page that I have sent you, on the right of that page, you will see where I marked with a star is where we are going to start from. We will come back to the pasuk in Mishlei. I read it to our hearing. I read it to our hearing. In his book, Ari Kadosh, Sha'ar Halikutim reads as follows. Da ki chashvu Achi Yosef shehu shirim leshirim. We remember the story of Yosef. Yosef being sold by his brother. And this was also part of Rabbi Pinchas' teaching this morning. Yosef, not Yosef, sorry. Yosef sold by his brother. They sold the transaction made before he ended in Mitzrayim, in Egypt. Mitzrayim, let's use the word Mitzrayim. Egypt doesn't say much more, anything apart from, what is this, geographical territories. Mitzrayim means a lot. The transactions took place from one people to one seller to another buyer, and so forth until he reached Mitzrayim. And the story is from the, is it a superficial? From the face value, we think that, well, it's just a selling. Oh, yes, okay, it's a selling. But there is a deeper meaning. We know that there was a pondering meaning there was some thought. They thought, because it says, Chashvu, they thought. Who are these? The brother of Yosef. Shehayu, that he was, that he is, not he was, but he is. Who? Shirim, leshirim. You know, when you translate this word, shirim, one who do what? It's translated a song of songs. Songs. In Hebrew, it's shir, but here it looks like songs, les songs, or for songs. But that is not what is meant here. One of my rabbis here was confirming exactly about this very word. Shirim, leshirim, or lashirim, leshirim, rather. We take the information and then we come, best of Hashem. Kilipa ma nesafrada me Abraham veYitzchak betet mehem Ishmael veEsav vedain lo nataharu. The brothers thought that Yosef, their own brother, was a drag. What is a drag? A drag is This is something that
Sediment.
ma.
The sediment, the bottom of the barrel.
That's right. Yes, yes. You know, I observed my rabbi, Rabbi Pinchas, observed closely. He does not drink the last part of the of the remains of anything. And I had the questions, and I always forget to ask why. Until one of my rabbis here, and I wanted to know that he's present also, right in the corner there. He said, no, this is also from the salt is not a good thing to drink to drink this. And I remember also from a cultural background, we have been taught at a cultural level that one should not take the last part of the drink. Leave some. But the elders did not explain. But Baruch Hashem, with this Torah level, I came to understand as to why. And this is what the brothers of Yosef thought that their brother Yosef was like that. How? Let's continue. Because that last part of the called the drag is also part of Klippa. It was a Klippa, and they thought the fact that Ishmael, who was the firstborn of Abraham, and the Esav, who was the firstborn of Yitzchak, the fact that they were sent out, so more so, Yosef, it's also in the same, they saw him in the same way. How so? Because we know, and it says that that had not still been finally purified. How so? And who is being referred to here? Is it Abraham? Is it Yitzchak? Or is it who? Is it Joseph? Certainly not. But we will see, best of Hashem. Because we know that when you look at other midrashim, we know that the bad part, what is called the Klippa of Abraham, was Ishmael. And the rest, the Klippa of Yitzchak is Esav. And the best of Hashem, with the time we will see the manifestation of these forces throughout human history to this very present. And we know from all these, we also know or come to know an entity, a spiritual entity called Amalek. We add a few lines, and we go back to not to go back, and then we will explain. Ariakados continues. Vema gam בחשיבם שיוסף פגם ביסוד. והטיהו לצינור Shemali. Bema Shehavi Devatam. Ra Im Hafech Hashalom. And in the other books, Likutei Torah, more or less the same word. Not much more of difference. Translated, the best of our ability. This was in particular, because the brothers felt that Joseph was blemishing the sephirah of Yesod. Rabbi Pinchas just taught us this very morning about Yosef being an aspect of Yesod. But let's take information a bit, diverting it to the left channel, God forbid, by slandering them to their father, this being the antithesis of peace. The case of Yosef is narrated in many commentaries of the Torah that the 12 brothers, I mean, not the 12 brothers, the 10 brothers, the 10 brothers, Joseph was using Lashon Hara about his 10 brothers to their father. Lashon Hara. And some commentary says, this Lashon Hara is how they were making mockeries of the children of Zilpah and Bilhah. And the other commentary went on to say, these 10 were alluded to when finally he revealed himself in Mitzrayim, and when he said, Joseph said, certainly go up to your father. He alluded to their death, but he alluded also to the death of tzaddikim who were made out by the Romans. Other commentary would go and say, no, Joseph spent 12 years. The first 10 years is for each brother. And the additional 2 is because of the 2 servants who he found, Paro, the servant of Paro. Now, I end with this one more passage of Ariya Kadosh. Ariya Kadosh said, Vaisod sod, Halashon, Adibur, Pagambo, Yesod is also the principle of a tongue. The tongue. And the slender blemishes it. Why would okay, maybe I should come back here. The tongue is a principle, according to Ali Akadosh, it's a principle of Yesod. What is he alluding to? What is he saying? What is even Yesod? We are familiar and we are accustomed. Let me just use probably just 3 Sefirot down of the 7 Sefirot. Remember, I talk about the foundation of Botzena Kadisha's teaching, Torah. We premise our teaching on what we have, all what was transmitted to us, 7 kings. If we are not familiar with the kings, we will have problems. we will encounter problems. Let's look at 3 Sefirot. Netzach, Netzach. They have got Hod. And then we have got Yesod. Let me lead you to Africa. I demonstrate what has been known by my ancestors, passed it to us, and certainly this is the basis of Ari Akadosh's teaching. When I stand, for example, this part, starting from here, going down, that reproduction is exactly in the same shape as this. The same shape. But what is the imbrication here? The imbrication here, according to what I have learned some time ago and many times, and I still digesting, because every time Rabbi Pinchas is presenting this topic, it's very huge. It's very huge in the sense that everything is in everything. What does that mean? Just as we have got Yesod is not just one. Everything that you find in other Sefirot, you find it in one of each Sefirot. In each one of these Sefirot. Or Sefirot. So every time it is being presented to me or taught to me, I find a new insight. Sorry. So, what did they think, the brother of Yosef? What they thought about their brother Yosef is what you and I always think about others. We mustn't think, like one said, if you study Torah and you do not see your picture into it, in everything that you read, certainly be assured that, well, the Torah is probably pushing, go back. Go back and ask yourself as to, who am I? Because the Torah, even if you do not understand it, studying the Torah, meaning studying Tanakh. Let me say you use the word Tanakh. Studying Tanakh, even if you do not understand it, there is one aspect. There is one spark that certainly will speak to you. Listen to it. We are too much into the world that, because this is a world of distractions. We are being distracted one way or the other. We do not follow that spark that speaks to me, that to you. In our world, we think that It's only Yosef. It's only a narration. It's only a story that is that is used by the Torah to describe about a person who was. No, this is a standard for you and for me to learn from. It speaks about me. It speaks about you. How do we find ourselves in the situation of the 10 brothers? 10 is also a paradigm. You have got the 10 commandments. You have got the 10 sephirot. And once you blemish one sephirah, certainly you have caused the blemish in all sephirot. So now, what is Arya Kadosh is really saying here? What he is saying is, they thought, the brothers of Joseph, they thought, oh, the man has blemished, has used, he's not clear. I mean, not clear, no, not clear. Pagan, he blemished his yesod. He blemished his yesod. How do you blemish your yesod? There are many ways. There are many ways how to blemish the yesod. I learned from my Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Pinchas, that even if you have got a brit, the skin comes back, the ola comes back, not physically, but spiritually, it comes back. And once it is back, look at how that person is behaving. His wife becomes immodest. That's what I have learned. Look at how he chippy like a bird in a Beit Knesset. He blemished his the yesod. But little did they know that they were also passing a judgment. How do I know that? This is my own chidush. I will come back to this. How do I know that? It uses the word chashvu. Chashvu. Chashvu is about thought. Let's look at this chashvu from a different angle. How many letters do we see? 4 letters. Let's look at the gematria value of this 4 letters. 316. Very good. You're very fast, eh? I'm glad. Thank you very much. Welcome to our limud. Let's look at this word. The gematria value, as one of our friend and a visitor just indicated, is 316. Imikolel. No, sorry. Not imikolel. Im otiot. 320. 320. What do we know about 320? Shah. מה זה שח? I wanted to be rescued by my Rosh Yeshiva. What is a shach? Rabbi Pinchas.
דינים לחוכמה.
דינים בחוכמה?
דחוכמה.
דחוכמה. דינים. What is דינים? דחוכמה?
Could be Halikutim in each level of Naran Chai.
The brother.
מה כבודו? What did you say?
What did you say, sir?
I'm thinking, I'm just gonna make sure I'm right.
אלוקים, it's כך.
What they were thinking, they were not just thinking. In their, this is my chidush, in their thought, they were also passing judgment. They were judging. In their thought, they were judging. So they sentenced him. Someone said, let's kill him. Someone was saying, no, let us sell him, don't kill him. Don't kill him. Let us just sell him. The other one was quiet. In my previous limud, I have said, can't remember exactly where, I said it, I said, when there's a Gemara that says, do not stand idle, or it says, three things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu hate. One of those he hates is when we have got a testimony of somebody who is being judged, who is innocent, somebody who is innocent being judged, and you have got a testimony to either to defend him or to give, and you keep silent. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says he hates you. And we see that in many communities. This is one of the characters in this generation of man that characterizes our world. Speaking may not be only speaking by speaking, even to come to his aid. I wanted to stretch this idea, to develop this idea before I come to the end of my limud. Being born in Africa, raised in Africa, and my generation is the last generation to have witnesses the end of the so-called colonialism in Africa. It's the last generation to have witnesses the system called apartheid. But that is not also the end of the sufferings. We see countries up to now, nations, communities being torn apart, either by religion influenced or religious instigated, or by other nations. I wanted to use a classic example. as soon as the war about in Ukraine started, the powers of the world, the powerful nations, and the world at large, they are all screaming. Meetings after meeting, conference after conferences, condemnation after condemnations. But when it comes to Africa, how much more do we defend? How much do we go out and they condemn this? We go there and taking pictures as how people are suffering. Is that how you? No. To a certain extent, having this experience, it's not really that you are sympathetic. It's good that you are making these coverages. But what did they cause? Except, when you say the people are hungry, yes, you come then dump the toxic food. And the people get sick of it and out of it. And the lifespan is being reduced. That's how we were relegated. Yes, it's not about just you speaking. Okay, speaking Lashon Hara. I'm not playing a victim here. It's common. It has been taught that my color of skin is a result of a case. It has been said. She has been advocated. I'm being labeled. Yes, because, Canaan was cursed. Is it from Ham? So Ham is cursed. Okay, fine. Is it all what we see? And this morning we saw that, the very same Canaan being cursed, is said cursed. It's the same aspect as yourself. It's not what we are saying, it's Ari Kadosh is saying. Let me end my limud with going back to where we have started. Using the tongue. When you look at that pasuk, consists of seven words. 7 words. That pasuk that we have just read, not led, but read in it, Mishlei 18:21, pasuk 21, verse 21, consists of 7 words. And this is 7 words. What does it remind us of? Pardon me?
First pasuk of Parasha.
Okay, what else?
7 zeros.
Yes, correct. But what do we see? When you look at the Parasha of last week, Ari Kadosh devote length of time discussing about the 7 kings. And these 7 kings, each one of them is a character. It's a composite of characteristics. And if this pasuk speaks about death and the life, certainly all these aspects must be connected. They must have something to do with the 70 kings. And we know that in Israel, our mission is for Tikkun Olam. And if we talk about the Tikkun Olam, we talk about fixing the 70 kings as well. But instead of fixing the 70 kings, where do we resort to? We resort to this word in grammatical value, sar. We are full of judgment in our speech. We do not see things. You want to see? Sar. Sar is sorry. Shar is shin, half of it. The material is 320. We could go further than that in the word Isar, into these two letters, but not today. Let's end. I was still ending my limud with this word. What makes a person, not what it calls, maybe still going back into the concept of, or the principle of Yesod. Not long ago, I'm reminding my audience, we have learned that there are only two lights that are close to us. Meaning, to us, as human, when we look at the name Havaya, these two letters, Vav and Hey. These are two lights close to us. So when I said not long ago, I'm referring to Rabbi Pinchas, one of his limud or limudim, talk about the yehud between these two letters. That these two letters, they have got only two places where they make yehud. And not long ago, we have also learned about the secret of revealing the secret. It also refers to the same letters. Rabbi Pinchas taught that when it comes to mouth, yes, these two letters seem to hint to equality. How? Because your wife gives and you give in a form of a kiss. But when it comes to second part, marital relations, only one that gives. Only one that gives, and the other one is a recipient. Where am I really driving at this? Is that if in this aspect, if they suspected that Yosef has blemished his yesod, then it will become a problem to this one too. But the question of blemishing the yesod, in our passage that we have read so far, it refers to the tongue. Aria Kadoshi said, it's a tongue that tells me that one has to be very careful every moment, every day. It doesn't matter who you are with. You have to guard your tongue. B'ezrat Hashem, we will continue with this theme, because why would they think that Ishmael and Esav were rejected? So Yosef must also be in the same way. Why would they think that? And if it is that the case, what if it is the case that Yosef, maybe I should put it this way. Let me come back to the idea. If they thought that, well, this man has blemished his yesod, how? Is it because of the slander? How did they know? How did they know that Yosef used to use his mouth, his tongue to slander his brothers? Because the Torah narrative does not tell us that there is one of brothers who used to be present. How did they know? B'ezrat Hashem, we will continue tomorrow on the same theme. Many questions, and not only questions, but also what Kadosh is saying. They were not purified. Who were these not purified? Is it the father of the two, meaning Abraham and Yitzchak, were not purified? From what? It will be the topic of tomorrow. B'ezrat Hashem. Thank you very much, Tadikim, for affording me this platform to share with you. I hope to join you next time, tomorrow. And if there is any question, please do not hesitate to send us those questions. And B'ezrat Hashem, we will revert with the answers. Thank you very much. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen ve'amen.
איזה רוב הלימוד או הפסקה before the לימוד? Il y a un autre לימוד là? Demain? Ok, ça הפסקה, pizza, sandwiches, what do you know?
Okay. Did you take care of it? Or